really do need that light. Let me see if I can put on my living room light, and then turn off my kitchen light, because that one is showing a lot of space and it does a lot of humming too, which I don't like. But nevertheless, I'm gonna enjoy what I got and go from there. Y'all, I am looking really robust, and this brassiere is not holding up too much of anything, but that's okay. So you guys, I'm actually trying to get myself prepared for, dang, yeah, I got to do something about that. Get prepared to get myself out here and, get ready for work. And when I say work, it's work because I get paid to do it, but it's not work. Well, yeah, it's work, but it's not, the typical work that I do. And that's why I tell people, work is not always what you get paid for or what you mainly get paid for. I get paid to do a lot of things because I have a lot of gifts. So, anywho, I got hired for this position to be a coach. Actually, I got 2 offers. I actually accepted both offers to be a life coach at 2 different locations. And they do the same thing, so I had to make sure that they didn't have a non-disclosure or a conflict of interest agreement, things like that, so that I wouldn't, jeopardize any one of the companies or jeopardize my company. So, anywho, as I was doing that, one of the companies require you to, do, to be like a first responding person or, like a first response person. So you got to learn the basics before you do any other job. That was their new requirements, which I do. I understand why they're saying that, because it does make a difference when you can see things firsthand. For me, it's not too much of a big deal because I'm constantly in that field of seeing things firsthand and still in that same environment, dealing with the homeless and dealing with people getting themselves on their feet and all that other stuff. I see a lot of that firsthand, a lot, just because of some of the community service work that I do and some of the other contract work that I do. So I went anyway because I believe in that purpose. I believe in what they stand for, what they state they stand for, their motto. I believe in that. So I was like, okay, not against it, so I'm going to do it. And while I got there, I noticed one thing that people had overheard the things that I do. People hear about you, like, in my area where I'm at, especially where I'm at, where I was at before, people knew me because of relation. And they just expected me to do certain things. But here, a lot of people don't know how I look. They just heard of my name. And they heard of things that have came as a result of what I've done. So that's basically of letting the work speak for yourself. Speaking for you. Let the work that I do speak for me. So, and I really do believe that. But anywho, back to what I was talking about. So I'm sitting there. I'm being a front desk person, and I'm sitting there talking to everyone, getting connected with everyone, and it's all good. Everybody is cool. So I'm just trying to learn the ropes, and everything was fine until this one individual found out that I was not doing this role permanently. They thought that I was an excellent person to do this role before they found out who I was and what position I was going to go into. Once they found out who I actually was and put the name correlation together, I got a different response from them, from this one individual. I said that. And what happened was, it just made me so, sometimes you get that and you're just like, haha, okay, whatever, and don't take it personal either way, because you can learn. Let me tell you, I learned so much from other people. I'm not one of those people that say, oh, I'm this, I'm that, because I just hate it to the bottom of my core. We're all people that can learn. And I'm not saying knock down your accomplishments either, because that's ridiculous. But yeah, this guy just started all of a sudden, like, trying to be very sneakily. Like, he wouldn't help me with certain things, or I asked him, okay, so how do you do this? How do your procedure go with filing the reports on the Mars report? You know, because they created their own Mars, and when you say Mars, that's a medication record, you know, a daily log. How did you do, you know, I was just asking them, how did they put that together? How was that in? What, you know, what went on? How did they process it? Because everyone processes it differently, unless you're under certain guidelines. Like if you're dealing with people with developmental disabilities or some kind of medical technical arrangement other than dealing with like a shelter, it's a little bit stricter. Like I remember working as a direct support professional, you literally had to count the medications. You know, at a shelter, you have that, they give you that kind of waiver where the items are locked up, but you don't have to touch anything. You know, you don't have to place the medication in there. They're capable, even if they aren't capable of doing it, you don't have to administer that. They have a nurse that comes in and actually does that, which I think that is very, if you really retrain, it's different. But anywho, this guy took it upon himself and said, I'm telling y'all the actual thing because when I get to describing what I'm talking about, then you guys are going to understand. He got to the point, he explained it to me very vaguely, tried to tell me what Mars stands for, and I'm explaining to him, you know, I let him go, and I was like, I understand what that is for, but how do you guys program it? Because they're doing a word spread press as far as implementing the Mars chart instead of using the DARPA or using the standard, you know, record keeping. You know, there's a actual record keeping standard in place, and it can save a lot. It saves a lot. So he goes in and he's like, okay, you know, you got it. Don't worry about it, you know. And I'm like, okay. I'm sitting there. I'm not even worried about it. Once he leaves, I'm like, let me ask somebody else exactly the question, like, how do you guys program this? What about the slowing? And he broke it down and told me everything. When I came back and the boss came in the morning, his response was very different. Like, and tried to explain this. What he tried to explain to him is saying that I didn't know my job. I didn't know. He couldn't believe that I didn't know how to do things. Just really talking down about, you know, my character and my capabilities, which he hadn't seen at all. I just asked him a couple of questions, you know, simple things, because if you get into the larger things and the things that, you know, so, and I wasn't, like I said, I'm not ashamed. If it's something that I don't know, I ask how to do it, how to get it, or whatever. But the conversation went so far as to say that, you know, this person is going to be a weak a weak asset. Y'all, I cannot speak. Like, what is going on? A weak asset to the team. And I'm sitting there. Now, he's not understanding that I'm right around the corner just listening to him. Now, me, if this was me before, I would have just had a conflict and confronted him right then. But what I've learned from previous altercations and previous things like that is that you have to be able to work in an area and to deal with conflict, okay? And it's not only conflict with the clients, it's conflict with your coworkers, conflict. You have to be able to navigate through that. If you don't, you seem as a person that is not capable of handling assignments and handling promotions, because that comes along with the territory. You have to think about it. There's things that you don't agree with your boss a lot of the times, or people that you see every day. And you have to be able to navigate around that. And if I was to go and do what I felt and stay in my emotions and go over there and tell them about stuff and say, you know, that was very simple, or why would you do that? It would have looked bad on me because I'm not able I'm not able to deal with conflicts. I'm not able to deal with handling what other people say about me. And that is something that I had to deal with for quite some time. And it hurt me a lot, because although people would see the talent in me, didn't understand this, they would see the talent, they would see the passion, they would see the drive. But if I can't handle conflict resolutions, when somebody comes and attacks me, how am I able to get up and navigate? It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, because there's gonna be a time when people come and try to attack you. There's gonna be some people that's gonna come and try to kill, steal, and destroy. There's gonna be some people that you just are not gonna you're not gonna agree with, but you have to be able to be firm and stand your ground. And sometimes standing your ground is not always combative and what most people tell you to do, as far as being very overt about speaking how you feel and what they're doing. And if and being around manipulative people who are going to try to tear you down, especially in that way in the workforce. What I have learned is that, based off of the Bible, it tells you this. Be wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove. Be wise as a serpent. A serpent, you don't hear them. A serpent, you don't hear him. Okay? When he was saying all that, he didn't know that I was around the corner. It was only one person that was back there and saw it. And I'm sure he wasn't going to say too much, because he was just like following it. If he does, oh well. I didn't say anything. Okay? You don't hear a snake. You don't hear the slithering. People talk about, oh, this person was a snake. So listen, you got to learn some of the things. Because if God tells you to teach you to observe all things, you have to learn it, okay? When you're in this world. Because if you want to be successful, this is what you're going to face. I don't even care what facet you're in. You can be in the rap industry. You can be in the farming industry. You can be in tattooing industry. It does not matter, okay? It does not matter. You could be dealing with the homeless population. It does not matter. You're going to face this in some point in time. Jesus, what was that? I don't know. But you're going to face that in some point in time. So it's better, it is wise to learn these principles so that you can be able to stand, and you can be able to stand on top. One of the things, this is why I had to, that I never went against this woman who I knew that really did not like me. She thought I was less than her. And she was in my building. I told you guys about that like a year or so ago, when she was in my building and she caused a lot of headaches and trauma. One of the things that she taught me, because she literally said, you need to stop being emotional and stop reacting and get very tactical. Think about a snake. And she was so right. She was in psychology. She was so right. When she started telling me some of the things, they were very manipulative. Some of those things that she was telling me were very manipulative. She was a very manipulative person. But I knew that a lot of the things that she said was on point and on time. And she knew how to narrow in on people and to strategically exploit people. Now, I'm not saying doing all that, but if you're around somebody who is being very manipulative and they're being that way, they know. Excuse me, y'all. I had to hurry up and try to eat that shrimp. Okay. It's really, really large. So they have to, they know, what's that I say? Oh, yeah, those people, they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. They know how to pry on you. They've already studied you. And most of the times, these people, when they are so vindictive and stuff like that, usually they steal people's ideas. They lie. They cheat. They do whatever to try to climb up. And eventually, they know that some of the people, they'll be sitting there like, I know that this person did not do this to me. Like, you're sitting there second guessing, because I'm one of those people. Y'all see me like, did this really happen? Like, I can't believe this. Like, what? And while you're doing that, they're climbing, because you're in emotions. They're climbing. And you're feeling upset. And then you're looking like you're the person that's being antisocial. You're the person that's being mean. You're the person, and it's so right for you. Why wouldn't you be mean or isolated a little bit and upset if somebody stole your ideas, somebody said some horrible things about you in the workplace saying that you're not competent? You're going to try to, and in your right mind, you're gonna try to stay away from them and not do anything. Like, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. But that, I'm telling y'all, that is not smart, because these people are looking at you. They're looking at you. Okay? How can you deal in this situation? No matter what, those people are going to be the same way. And you have to understand that a lot of these employers and a lot of these people know exactly how these people are. That's why they're in the same position. They haven't moved up. Some of these people move up in cap. But they learn, especially during this time, because everybody's shifting and they go in different places. So the work that they're producing is either fluctuating or not standing up or coming apart as it used to be. So that some of those things are getting exposed that way. But you have to understand, a lot of these people, a lot of these employers and a lot of these bosses and human resources, they know. They usually know about those individuals. They know about those individuals who are doing that, but they have to look at the bottom line, okay? Because it's a business. You know, you're operating out of a business. How can this business be better? You know, so they can't just wipe away, although most people can say, you can start over again and just wipe away and go clean. A real business, if they want to survive, they can't do that. They can't do that, especially if you're dealing with social services or something like that. You always start from what you haven't built. That's how you become successful. That's how you become wealthy. You build. You don't break off. You don't destroy everything you build, okay? So I'm going to tell you how to do this. You have to learn this principle. I'm telling you. Just be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. While they're doing that, make sure that you're still speaking to people. When you come in and you see that person, speak to that person. Make an attempt and be very nice. Don't have anything like, hey, just... hello, be a big person. You know, I can't stand, and I don't understand why people think that they're going to get promoted by going tit for tat for somebody who is weak-minded like that. If they're still in and they're being mean and being horrible, guess what I'm going to do? I'm still going to be nice. I'm still going to be professional, because I know that eventually it's going to show up. And even if say for instance, the guy name is John, or it's a girl, no, we'll say a girl named Emily, okay? And this is Emily who's being manipulative and said all this stuff about me, okay? I wouldn't care if Emily is saying all this and she has everyone else believe in that. After a while, if I come in and I show up every single day, I'm speaking to every single person. I'm being very, open, learning people's names. I'm going and talking. I'm finding new ideas, and I'm keep walking, and I'm having that navigation. Some people are going to break off. It might not be everyone. Sometimes it's good that most people look and see like, hey, that's not adding up. That's not their personality. That's not their character. That's not their flow. It's not for you to wait for them to find out, but it's up to you to keep going. Keep doing that. Keep showing up, because it's going to make a difference. It's going to make a difference, because now the people who see what you are doing, they have to make a decision. Am I going to believe the lie, or am I going to believe what is presented in front of me? Okay? That is what you want. That is what you want. So once you start doing that, you start forming alliances, okay? Or groups. When I say alliances, I'm not saying like, oh, we're fighting this, nothing like that. You're setting yourself up to be promoted. No one person can be elevated by himself, okay? So you want to find those connections of people, because people who are producers will produce. People who are about good things and about motion, they will be there and they will find each other. Have you ever noticed that certain groups find each other? The smokers, smokers find each other, the drinkers find each other, the goody two-shoes find each other, the dancers, think about high school. How everybody in the group, that's the same thing you're going to think about at a job. Now, I don't want to say cluster yourself to make you isolated to where I'm the jocks and I don't deal with these type of people, because that's very not diverse, and that's not smart. I'm saying you're aligning yourselves with what you want to do or what you want to project and to come across as. So if I'm in this group and I am learning, because I'm getting trained, I'm learning from the bottom up, I'm going to learn the avenues about what it takes to do a certain task, what Jimmy does on this task. I might not be able to find out what Emily does, because Emily is the person that is starting. But if Jimmy, Bob, and Susan is there, I take shifts and find out, what they do and learn that skill. What do I do with that? Not only do I do that, if I'm trying to get promoted, I'm going to go and look into that field as far as what they do. Excuse me, what that field does. Navigate. Do those things. Do those things. Operate in that spirit, in that flesh, not to overstep your boundaries, but make yourself look in that position. I'm not gonna go and be antisocial or isolate myself because of that. And you have to understand one thing. I came to notice this myself. I had to get this really, really quick. I've always been taught that you don't have friends. You don't know who your friends are until you die. I really do believe that is true. But I know that I have some really great people that I can count on. But what I've learned the most is that everyone that you work with is not your friend. Most of the people, whether we want to believe it or not, most of the people that we come to work with are not our friends, and they don't have all the same views, the same things. So it is okay. Not to say anyone's horrible, but when we mix that up, sometimes the lines get blurred, and then we come off on a negative emotional burnout because of that. But if you can take that emotional out and keep that production side of that aspect of a relationship or a friendship, you will be much more better and come out on top when these things happen. Also, when you're dealing with someone who is very manipulative, because I'm quite certain, y'all, this is another thing that I noticed at night. There was a person, I can tell you ideally what happened, but I can tell you the incident, but I can't tell you everything else. So it was an incident where a person who had a severe mental illness, right, was going in and out, and they're like, having an episode, a psychotic episode, and how this person, they were like, they couldn't even really handle it. They're like, okay, whatever, blah, blah. And it was heightening the person up because they were ignoring what they were going through and or telling them, oh, no, this is not happening, which I know from personal experience, because if you guys watched the show before, you guys know about my mom. So my mom has schizophrenia, bipolar, so had a lot of experience all my life. Knowing that, one of the things that you don't do is tell them, oh, no, it's not, unless they can grasp it. But if they're if they're entering into the downslope or a psychotic episode, you're going to agree, you're going to say, okay, well, and try to take their mind off of things. So one of the things that I've noticed that they never put in the notes what happened, what was the de-escalation process. Well, it was one person that put in the notes. The de-escalation process that went on while I was there. I went there and de-escalated the whole situation and transitioned and had that smooth transition from leaving, from going from that psychotic episode, de-escalating that down and transferring it over to the police professional, because he wanted to go to the emergency room. And it was very much strong delusions. But those were some of the techniques and some of the things that I had to do. But these are the things you want to have those alliances. You want to show. You just want to show up. Show up. And you want to have people around you when anytime you're confronting them with something or anything that's going a little bit left, because these people will be very manipulative and shaky. Which I didn't find out until later, that this individual really wanted the position that I had, but they offered it to me. I didn't even know that position was even open. They literally offered it to me. So with that, I was like, okay. So I knew what I was going through. I knew what I was coming through and coming against, and how to strategically plan. Now, from this point on, I'm not gonna. One thing you have to do: don't talk about what your goals are, what your aspirations are, what you do outside of work. That was one of the things. Even though my things are connected, my life is very much connected. God has had me on this path, and my things are literally syncing in line with each other. Like, God is so wonderful. I'm so glad for this process. I thought it was just the worst thing. I'm so grateful. Okay, because like I said, everything is syncing. Boom, 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 boom. Like, boom, boom. And I know it's like, it's getting really tense anyway. But anywho, I don't tell about what I do, all the connections that I have, anything like that. We can have small talk about games, about things like that, about maybe a shirt. You know, I'll wear a Nike shirt. Sometimes it's not the best thing to wear shirts that have emblems and stuff on it when you're dealing with a shelter. I might have to make that video, and why, because yeah. But anywho, who made that mistake yesterday, I should have turned it inside out, knew better. So but yeah, you have to make it limited, because it's not about who wronged you or anything like that. It's about how to strategically navigate through a process like that, because people will not change. There will be some people who will, balance back, but there are people out there that are very manipulative. I don't want to hold y'all too much, 30 minutes. People who are very manipulative, people are very tactful and very spiteful, especially if they want something that you have. They'll be so people who are like that and backstabbing people, you can't run from them. I used to feel that way, and it would hurt me so much because I couldn't do the things. It would hurt me so much inside because it would hurt me from doing the things that I actually knew I was created to do, and I knew that I would be great in doing. So once I started applying those principles from God and using that formula, I'm telling y'all, just use the book, use the formula, use the Bible. It's telling you, be wise as a serpent. Be quiet. Be quiet when you're doing things. Be quiet. Don't tell them what you're doing. Don't tell your left hand what your right hand is doing when you're dealing with these types of people, because they're not on the up and up. They're going to twist things. And if you try even confronting them, if it was a normal person or an average person who really wasn't trying to backstab you or do anything crazy, they would come to this and say, you know what, I did do a wrong thing. I do apologize, and I'm going to try to work on not doing it again, and won't do it again, and will really work on it. But these people are not, and you have to understand, just like it says, if your brother has offended you, you come to them the first time. But with a backstabbing person, then you come with the second time you come with a witness. And if they still don't get to you, you treat them as a stranger. You treat them as a publican. You treat them as a taxpayer, like a stranger. You don't have to be mean to them, but you have to be very strategic, and you have to be smart as far as how to deal with these people. This is always also bringing one of the things that I noticed from one of my neighbors too, that is a strategist. She is a legal strategist, y'all. But this lady did not like me either, like couldn't stand me, but she knows that I have a lot of qualifications and a lot of things, and now she's been opening up more to me, and I really was nice to her. Like, y'all, I was so nice to her no matter what. I didn't even know what she did. I knew she was a very strategic person, but I didn't know she was a strategist, okay? But she is extremely, like, you could just tell off the back some of her things. So, anyhow, yeah, you have to use those principles in order to be successful. And most of all, I want you to understand, do not give up on yourself. Do not turn away and change your personality, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to sink in. When these people used to do this to me all the time, and they see me sink in and sink down, they would be so happy. They would be so excited. You could see the grins on their faces, and they would constantly try to do it more and more and more and more and more. And then it will shrink you down to where you don't want to show up. You don't even want to share anything because you're so afraid of things being taken away from you, and you're doing more of the work that I don't even want to have anything to do with it, Don't let them take your joy. Don't let them take your power. They're not as strong as who they think they are. Sometimes you just have to play that card and play that game. And okay, I don't know what that is, but bye-bye. And play that game, and when I say play that game, just don't let them know what's really going on. Just keep your distance as far as telling what you your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, those things. But like I said, be very harmless. You're not trying to hurt them. The whole goal is to protect yourself. The whole goal is try to protect yourself and protect your income, because at the end of the day, you still want your check. At the end of the day, you still want to have these things. So do what's best. Do what's best in that situation. I think that is about it for that one. I'm going to get off of here because I need to walk my dog and to finish getting myself ready for this day. Shoot, in a couple hours. After. Oh, y'all. Okay. Hopefully something I said or done will help you on your journey. Please stay tuned to Journey to Jerusalem. And thank you so, so very much. Bye.